Hey Tom, Poker Edge, how you doing? KidCardiff6 here in the house. Got a little live session recorded on Sunday, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to record a live session. Currently, I've got about 12 tables. There's five on this screen, and I have 6 on this screen now, and I have 6 on the other screen. So I'm deep right now. Well, not really deep, but just a plane going past. Yeah, currently grinding from Brazil. He's just. I think we've got to look him up really and just. Okay, fair enough. He had it. Currently grinding from Sao Paulo in Brazil, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity to. I thought it'd be a good opportunity to turn on the video now on a Sunday. It's been a while since my last video series. Apologies for that. Actually, I have been working on quite a few. I did a W Coupe live sweat for the main event and the second chance, and I think that was a really good series. The problem was that my computer overheated and the sound quality went a little bit bad. So I'm currently remaking that, and I almost also finished the second part of the theory series, which is the post-flop. I know that's been quite a while coming. So as you can see, we've got Trauma Poker Edge legend to my left, who loves to bluff me, big dog pocket fives. I thought that was a perfect time to get the video rolling, really. Once big dog started sitting next to me, it just reminded me of the 100 rebuy series we did, and I thought, you know what, we both got good stacks in this tournament, we could both go deep. I need to get him back for a few bluffs he did on me, so I want to get this this recorded just so I can rub it in his face. No, I'm only kidding. So I hope you've all been running good. I've also got a decent stack in the 100 rebuy then. This is a 50 freeze out on full tilt. This is a 215 on full tilt, and Sunday 500 and Sunday mills. We're all in with aces here and 8-8. See if we can raise, call, and raise the squeeze. I just shoved. Okay, well it's going in. Ace king would be nice. I'm pretty close to an airport, so you might hear a few planes go by. Maybe I'm going to shut the window in a bit. Ace queen off. Wow, what a hero. Wow, that was not good. Oh well, I have to close that table and move on. So I haven't heard much from Big Dogs yet. I'm not sure if he's got the video running. I hope he does. So let's have a look at the warm up here. I think there's about 600 left. Yeah, we're approaching the bubble pretty quick. 578. I think there's 540 paid maybe. Yeah, 540. Wow, it's a big C bet. I've been studying a lot, you know, to do with sizing of C bets, and you can see here this player is trying to protect something. You know, when players put in really small C bets, especially on wet boards, I've noticed that they're really often just almost like an automatic C bet there, like an obligation sort of thing, and they're not really protecting much for hand or trying to get much value from worse. Particularly, let's say the blinds are 100, 200, you min raise, and then you just make it C bet of 200. You know, on kind of a wet board, deep stack. I'm generally going to check raise a lot of those. So this C bet I might give a bit more respect. I can't imagine nines are ever good here 4-way. Once it's gone cool on the flop. I mean, we're in the Sunday Millions, but I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm drawing to like a 9 here, and that's never good. So we're on the bubble of the Sunday warm-up. Okay. Other tables I've got the hot to 75. You know, 1 or 2 turbos. I tend to stay away from turbos on Sunday. I think that you can add a few to your schedule, but you've got so many good structured tournaments that we don't really need to play many turbos, you know, unless we're running bad and we've got to open up a few more tables maybe. So what have I been doing since my last video? I've been playing a lot online towards the end of last year. I hate the noise of party poker. I wish I could just mute it. I'm gonna have to mute it in the breaks. It's pissing me off. Anyway, I did pretty well towards the end of last year. I scooped. I didn't scoop. I won an F-tops. Came second in F-tops. Chopped it heads up. That was the 1K1 with about 500 runners. So that was really good. Chopped the second chance Sunday. Final table, the big 162 on a Sunday. Got second in the turbo on 888. So I was running pretty good. This year hasn't started as good. I'm gonna have to shut the window. It's like rush hour here. These planes flying past every bloody minute. This year I haven't started as well online. It's been quite a few like 10th places where you're running bad, and last week I got like 20th in the second chance Sunday, Kings against Jacks for the chip lead. You know the hands you just got to win in tournaments, and I'm pretty sure this weekend it's going to turn around for me. So even better to have it on the camera. Window is now shut. Party poker is still beeping. Right, we've got rid of at least one disturbance now. The next one we need to get the party poker sound off during the break, and then start winning with aces, and then I think this video is going to be a hit. Big dogs has gone down a little bit. What's happened to big dogs? Well, he's probably raising on the bubble, chip lead, whatever. This is kind of a nice spot to just like 3-bet fold, right? I mean, shouldn't be 3-bet folding from the stack, but he should be opening pretty wide. So I think he's going to be opening wide and 4-betting tight. So it's a nice spot to go ahead and 3-bet. Don't think he's going to 4-bet fold much when I've got this stack. And I don't think he's going to peel too much out of position. So we're going to play nitty, but we've got a few tricks up our sleeve just to pick up some pots. So big dogs, I think the guy must have just opened. Oh, he just opened. Big dogs must have jammed on him, which I think is fair enough. Considering I think that this player here is going to definitely have a raise fold range with that stack. Maybe not so much from that position, but anyway. So we just raised on the bubble here. Hopefully get through. We've been gifted a lot of chips in this tournament. In the break, I'm going to show you. Maybe I'll move tables, but yeah, there have been some pretty funny hands for sure. That's always nice. Also got a hold. So I think it's probably a good spot for him to stick a 3-bet in with any 2 here, because he knows I'm opening so wide. If he does, I'm definitely going to see a flop. Yeah, it's definitely a nice flop, but he expects me to be c-betting all the time. So hopefully he might hit something, or he might want to play back at me here. spotted the 215 turbo. He does, he calls, wow. Ace on the turn. I mean, he definitely could be check calling with an ace here, but I also think that some of the hands he might be check calling with might be ace 6, ace 7. He may be check calling with king x as well, and might not give me credit for an ace here by barreling. So I think we have to barrel this card, and I think he's gonna check call pretty much all his range. All of his check calling range. Obviously he's got check fold range as well, but I didn't see him check raising there, that particular card. I think if he's got a value hand, he's just gonna let me keep barreling, and I suppose, you know, he could have check raised the draw there perhaps, but I don't know. I still felt that he could have worse one pair hands that could come along and call, so I thought it was worth barreling. I think if I check back there, it's just basically telling him I've got showdown value, and once I bet the river, he's almost always going to check fold. Cheeky c-bet. So I definitely think when players make the effort to type in a c-bet, you can give them a bit more respect than maybe, you know, when someone just clicks the 2 big blinds, automatic c-bet. I think that you can definitely give that more respect. Does depend on the flop texture. I mean, you know, on a dry ace high flop, it's a little bit different to a 7, 8, 9, 3 diamonds, but alright, so what are we shipping today? Good question. I think I'm going to ship 2 tournaments. I'm going to get not going to be too greedy and say 3. I'm going to say 2. We must be right near the bubble here. 549. Maybe he's waiting to make a play on me, because I don't think he's the type of player just to blind out. It's like, you know, to time out. So I think he's looking to make a play on me here. Yeah, it's a difficult spot really if I go ahead and peel or not. We're kind of short stacked behind, which means that it's going to be not really give me enough room to bluff him post flop. You know, if we're 200k deep, I would definitely take a flop here, because or 100k deep, because I think I've then got room, you know, to really to float a few streets, and perhaps have him, you know, obviously we could get 3 barrels in instead of just 1. Whereas here we've only sort of got room to maybe come over the top of his c-bet, and that basically we needed to flop well that particular hand, and I think it was just a little bit too much of an investment. Even if I thought he might have been playing back at me, we had to flop pretty good there to be comfortable with our hand. We can go ahead and raise here, and maybe someone's going to put pressure on us behind, like the big stack, or maybe even big dog. So yeah, my year hasn't started brilliantly. I did go to the PCA though. I cashed the main event. Lost a pretty big pot there, but at least I was in the money. And final table aside event. My plans then, I'm going to go back to Europe soon and play the series of EPTs. There's Vienna, San Remo, and Monte Carlo. Then I'm going to be grinding Scoop, maybe in Mexico. Going to Las Vegas for the World Series, and maybe back to Brazil to watch the World Cup, a few games if I can get some tickets. So that's the plan really, and hopefully then be able to enjoy a little bit of time off in the summer after a successful grind. So it starts today. My year starts today really. I need to take it, get the ball rolling, and get a big score behind me. This 215 is obviously a re-entry, so might be playing it a little bit differently. The 100 rebuy, I got off to a great start, sort of in the second hour, and since then I've just kind of been a little bit relaxed. Ammo has been just opening everything, so I'm not sure I really like 3-betting here, just because he's probably aware that he's opening a lot and could probably 4-bet me light. I don't really want to get too frisky and have to sort of 3-bet fold this hand. I don't feel that comfortable 5-bet shoving. I'd rather have slightly more chips, so that we have slightly more fold equity. And then, obviously, you know, if we do call, we're running the risk that one of these guys could squeeze behind. But it's been a fairly tight, nitty table, so I wouldn't be too worried about that. Definitely is a good flop to peel one. Maybe even raise the flop. So I expect to see bet from him a lot. So he's just checked. I think we've got to go ahead and bet. There are a lot of turns that we're going to continue on as well. If he does come along a call, I think we're going to continue on that turn, definitely. Oh, that was a bit fishy there. Probably should have just jammed pre-flop. So that's definitely a good turn to continue. I don't think he's going to be check calling too many flush draws on the flop. So we will bet, and we'll sort of big enough bet to say, you know, go on. Probably going to be shoving most rivers as well. Okay, so he's called pretty quickly. I still think he could have just like a, you know, heart. Check calling like maybe ace high with a heart there. We'll see what he does in the river. If he has a 10, I'll be if he does bet out. Well, so what 10s does he really have in his range here? I think I've got to go ahead and just shove and just hope to get a fold. I'm not really sure what hands he can have here. I mean, it feels like a good bluff spot against him. We're going to see what happens. I feel like his bet there's got to be a bluff a lot. Just can't really think of too many value hands. Could I get him to fold a value hand as well? I'm giving him a pretty good price to call, so I'm not sure, but currently doing my folding dance. That worked out nicely. So, fairly happy with that result. I think if you look at the math of that, you know, there was like, let's have a look at this hand again at the break. We're going to re-enter then after the break in that one. Let's get another one up here. This is the... Let's get the bigger 55. I think this is probably the softest field on Stars. There's so many crazy plays on this. The other day, someone 5-bet shoved me with 8-4 off for like 50 bigs, and I held. But, you know, it was just... don't think I've ever been 5-bet shoved before with 8-4 off. So definitely seen a lot of crazy hands in this tournament. It's huge field, huge variance, but I think it's worth playing. Not too many tournaments like this in your schedule. Obviously 2,000 runners even on a weekday sometimes, but I think it definitely is. If you can play, you know, mix these in with some low variance tournaments. Then I think that's a winning recipe. If you're just playing tournaments with 2,000 players all the time and turbos and hypers, life becomes very difficult. Just going to be left disappointed so often, and I think you're relying too much then on variance and running good. King Jack in the big blind. I think we might in the money now. Yeah, we're in the money. So we're just going to defend. I'm not loving his raise here because he's raising into some short stacks, but he is also probably raising. I'm not even sure if he's even aware of that. I mean, the Ukrainian guys, if they're in position, fold to the cutoff or button, they just generally want to raise. I also think this is a good flop to just check call on, because I think that a lot of the time reg players who are opening so wide just check back like weak aces on this flop and play so pathetically. Also, we could have the best hand. I think he might shut down on the turn if we continue, or we could bink a queen. That didn't work. Could this be a good turn to check raise? Wow. So he just checked back pretty quickly on the river here. Interesting spot whether to bet or not. I think we're going to have to put like a small bet in and just try it. What's the magic number? Difficult one. 15-2. We could have two pairs there, maybe a 9. I don't think we've made our bet size too small to price them in or too big to polarize us to a 9. So that's what I've tried to execute there by my bet size. And it worked out. So come on, big dogs, get a double up, please. I want some hands with you. But I haven't got too much more starting. It's pretty nice playing from here, this time zone. You can see we're kind of deep and everything started at like 2. So we're not playing until so late. So big dogs has moved, and I'm really hoping that we're going to see each other later in the tournament and be able to continue. Unfortunately, we didn't play any interesting hands together, but I suppose that's the nature of the warm up a little bit more than 100 rebuy, in that the stacks become a lot shallower, becomes more of a pre-flop game, and your hands are tied behind your back a little bit more in terms of the creativity that you can do. So king's under the gun, probably going to raise. I know my father would limp there, but he doesn't listen. Got a few tables on Party Poker then, the noisy bugger in the background. We have the 200k guaranteed, the 500 high roller and 100 freeze out, all kind of just plodding along there. Haven't really got a stack any of them. So any interesting hands? No action with kings. Probably the worst place to find kings there. I do quite like raise folding from that stack in that position, but because 14 big blinds, people just don't really play back at you without a pretty strong hand, so they're going to need definitely like 10s plus ace queen, maybe the odd aggro reg with 9s and 8s and 7s, but particularly raising under the gun, with weak aces, I think can be profitable. I think if you start min raising from late position, then people might not give you so much credit. It's the same guy put a really big bet in into the flop last time, and actually I want to review that hand to see what everyone had, but we're definitely just going to shove here and hopefully run into like top pair, top kicker, or maybe a flush draw or whatever. But I don't think I can fold here against this player. If he's out flop me, then I can live with that. Okay, well he's hit a big flop. That's a great turn for me, and a fantastic not river. So you can never be too disheartened busting out of a 13k pot in the Sunday Millions. People, go crazy about, I was chip leader, I lost a chip lead pot in the Sunday Millions. How many were left? 1,000. Yeah, that doesn't really matter because I'm pretty sure half the field lost a chip lead pot at some stage. I did come 11th in the Sunday Millions. You know, the 2-day event. It's like the the W Coops Challenge or something. That was pretty painful. Got some interesting hands I'll talk about in some of the theory videos I'll be doing there, but essentially just lost a race to 11 left, pretty much the first big race, you know, when we were deep, and for a top 3 stack with, you know, would have been with 10 left, would have been particularly sweet, 300k up top, but yeah, you can only keep getting yourself in that position, and you like to think that eventually you'll win that flip. So there's a break now. Oh bugger, close the Sunday Millions. There's a few hands I wanted to review there. So let's review this slightly crazy King-Queen shove. That worked somehow. Talk you through my thought process here. So he definitely isn't the type of tricky reg that, I mean, he's been opening a really wide range of hands here. I mean, generally, you know, when I'm playing this, you know, I can pretty much how do I say? I can pretty much focus on 10 tables without too much necessity to go and refer to the HUD. It's a little bit more difficult summing numbers up when you've got a sort of a small screen. So sometimes I don't actually always play with it from a laptop. But without the use of a HUD, you know, I was very aware that this player was raising a lot of hands, c-betting a lot, putting in free bets. I don't think he's the type of player who's going to be checking here with overcards or top pair or a flush draw or a set. So I'm pretty happy about that. I'm pretty happy to go ahead and bet this, and I expect him to maybe call with, you know, check call with hands like, you know, pairs between 5s and jacks, maybe maybe some ace high hands here. So I think a lot of the time here he might also have a hand, you know, like ace king, ace queen with a heart. I can't imagine that he's turned a flush ever. Could he have ace 10 with the ace of hearts? Is that the only hand I really think that he might lead this river with? And then maybe pocket 10s as well. I think the only 2 hands that he can really lead this river with, and even then he might just check call. So, and even then he might, not with pocket 10s, but maybe with ace 10 he might even fold to my shove. So let's take a look at the maths involved in this hand here. I really don't think he's got much of a value range. So we've got 12,000 bet, bringing 40,000 into the pot. You know, so for me to go ahead and shove here and be profitable, you know, I'm putting in 20,000 to win 40,000. My success rate for every 1 chip I'm investing, I'm winning 2. So I think in general, if I'm making this move, I think he's going to be folding more than 1 and 2 times. Maybe I was fortunate that he did, but I really couldn't think of too many value hands that he could have there, and I think going in with 60k here is going to be a really beneficial, you know, rather than having 20k. Going with 60k now is not only, you know, obviously chip wise and chip count great, but I think in terms of what how I can go ahead and tackle this tournament and go and play aggressively could really help. Just going to pause for a second. So we have turned the sound off for the party poker. I think that it's going to be better that way. I may time out of some hands, but that beeping noise is horrific and it's absolutely doing my nut in. So mulligan started. Actually, yeah. Also got this nice tournament on 88, the 100k, which is like really a must play on 88 poker. So yeah, got 10 tables. I think 10 tables is really optimal on a Sunday. I think any more than 12 tables and you're cutting your ROI so much you can't even begin to understand. Can't emphasize that enough. Like I used to play Sundays, 16, 18 tables with a HUD, and I just couldn't follow the game flow and really was on autopilot far too much. Just couldn't even. I would get stacks in like tournaments and be like, how did I get a stack here? You know, like you can't pay attention much. I think that you can just cut a few tournaments on Sundays, and if you bust, then open some more tables. But in general, I think that we need to focus on, especially for making big investments like the 100 rebuy, the 500. We can focus on them a little bit more and just focus on the good ones rather than all the tournaments. Actually, just gonna keep it small here. I don't really want to just basically get it in for stacks here. I think he could also be flatting there, kind of a wide range against under the gun. Under the gun is like to have a strong raising range. So if this player here 3-bets, it's almost always going to be for stacks, or it should be. So I think that you see a lot of players flatting big hands against early position raises, particularly next to them, just because otherwise it screams too much strength. And they're almost waiting for someone to squeeze behind. Also, I don't always like to go too crazy with just one pair. I'm sorry, no, with just ace high. I don't like to go too crazy with just ace high sometimes. I would rather just maybe see a flop, okay. I think we'd play ace queen that way, right? I mean, we probably wouldn't squeeze ace queen there to get it in. So we don't automatically have to squeeze ace king. I'm squeezing probably queens plus, obviously, but wow, 10 big blinds. Yeah, it's really borderline. Yeah, I mean, I don't really like calling off folding, but maybe we're fortunate there. Okay, we split it. Oh no, it's mine. Satellite to EPT San Remo just started. So, wow, fours and aces, yeah. Fairly happy with my read there. He just shoves, and we're priced in to call here with 12 bigs, just about. I mean, it's very borderline, but against a small blind range, I think we've got a call. Bink a queen on the river, please. Thank you. That works. If you don't ask, you don't get, right? That's what I think in life. Unfortunately, now I'm timing out of every decision on party poker because we don't have the annoying beep. But I can live with that. So under the gun, go on. Let's make it 65. I do from early position. I do tend to raise a little bit more, maybe 2.2x, 2.25. Give them slightly worse odds to call in position, and Obviously, in a position, you've got a lot more guys who can call you in position. So hopefully this is. I'm kind of notorious with audio problems. Hopefully, hopefully you can hear me nice and clearly. I actually tried to trash the laptop that I recorded the W Coupe grind on. It was really frustrating because I really enjoyed that series. I'm actually going to remake it with new audio and maybe like a special guest speaker. So that's going to be interesting. Look out for that. You know, some really good deep-handed spots. Very deep effective stacks. So that's interesting. I think we're going to keep betting here. It's really sick. Just defending from the big blind. Check. I think we've got to keep betting here. Probably got to peel a flop against Big Egypt. Although, if you know my style of play, I really hate just peeling here and check folding, especially when like the guy next to you is re-raised and he could just be doing it so light. You know, particularly when players next to you re-raise, it's almost like oh, I was going to open and now the guy's just opened before me. Okay, I can't open, so I'm going to 3-bet him. I find that people that 3-bet you. Connection problems. Fantastic. So I think that people that 3-bet you often might not be so strong, which just gives you such tough decisions then on like 4-5 jack. I feel like a lot of his 3-bet range is also going to include like ace king, ace queen. So I don't think we can fold to just 1-bet here. This is the really annoying thing about it, and you end up sort of playing guessing games. That's why I really hate this type of spot. You know he's probably the type of player, particularly Big Egypt, just to go ahead and like 3-barrel a lot of these boards. We're going to call and a 9 on the turn. Shouldn't have changed anything, right? I mean, does it look like I could be set mining here? And I've hit my set? Could I have 9s in my range? Maybe. I mean, is he going to keep bluffing me? This is the question we've got to ask. I think there's so much in the pot, I think he might. Particularly as I didn't show too much strength. And I think particularly, you know, if he did have aces or kings on this board, I think he would try and protect it a bit more. I think he's more weighted to have ace high here, or to have had a draw himself, like maybe clubs or diamonds. Unfortunately, I think he's going to bet this river with all his range, his bluffs, and his values. So I'm going to give myself a tough decision, and that's really going to suck. I'm leaning towards a fold here. If the river wasn't a club, I may have leaned towards a call. Difficult. My read was if he had an overpair on the turn, he would protect his hand a little bit more on such a draw heavy board. So I'm not in love with folding either. But I think we're going to give him credit here, unfortunately, and pussy out. So it wasn't a great hand, lost a lot of chips, but yeah, that's the problem with playing sort of 7s that are out of position. You're going to give yourself so many sort of guessing games, and particularly against a player who isn't going to play. You know, against a player who isn't going to play face up and shut down when he's missed, I'm kind of happy to play 7s that way. But I don't think Big Egypt I think Joe Papaya, you know, he's one of the most aggressive guys, which also means he can show up with way more pre-flop, so we can hero call him more. But on that particular occasion, I'll be interesting to hear what your thoughts are. If you think we played any of the street wrongs, if you think that the club on the river really changed much, if you think we should be calling the 3 streets, or just check folding the flop to avoid some difficult decisions later in the hand, or even just folding pre-flop. I think if I was to do the same, I'd probably take it to the river again, and maybe hero call him more often than not. So queens here is definitely worth a squeeze. If we had less than 20 big blinds, I'm just going to shove. But I still think we can maybe get some action from worse hands here. I think shoving maybe prefer to induce with this stack rather than shove. And the button generally has got to wake up with something. See that, I'm going to fold. The button often flats, you know, like pairs here, like, you know, 8s, 9s, 10s sort of hands. So I think we're going to be crushing him so often. Ace queen. Ship it to Cardiff. Players just don't fold these days, do they? So we're going to end part 1 on a good note, and start again with part 2 in a second.